Welcome, Brian Keeler here. I'm in the midst of doing a landscape with figures here, and I've done several studies on location. The location is the Salmon Creek, which leads into Cayuga Lake just north of Ithaca here. And I've done, I think, 3 versions of plein air landscapes at this location, but this is a studio painting that I'm doing from memory and from some photographs. So. But I'm including these figures here, and it's related to the 3 graces, which I've done a number of versions over the years. And but this particular one, I have the figures relatively small, situated down here in the corner. And one of my inspirations for this particular one is the French painter called Lorrain, Claude Lorrain. But he painted in Italy, which, as you know, it's one of my favorite places to paint. So come on in close, and I'll show you what I'm doing here. Maybe look down here in my palette here for a second. And I'm mixing up this warm golden color. And throughout this painting, most of the colors are warmish colors. This is a cadmium orange I'm mixing in here. This is a little bit of Naples yellow. And I have some white in there already. So I'm going to go back to my easel here now. And the sun is right here, so it's creating this golden light along the trees here. And there's some of it kind of bleeding through, coming through in certain areas here as well. So it's this golden light. And I'm lightening the values and warming it at the same time. And this whole bank of trees back here is all done with the warm colors, a little bit of chromium oxide green and burnt umber mixed in. So I'm going to move around over here to these trees now. And what this is the effect of the sunlight striking the top parts of these trees here in this area. So as painters, we are involved in the play of light, and I'm also thinking in terms of value too, which means light and dark, and these trees are getting slightly lighter in value than this mass of this tree over here. So I'm going to go up here to this tree here now and just put some kind of flecks of light in the upper part of this tree here. You always have to keep where the light is coming from. It's coming from over here, so it's striking the right side of this tree and certain areas of. We have the light coming across here like that too. Okay, so I'm going to move to the sky now. I'm going to endeavor to lighten a large area here. So I'm going to use a relatively large round brush and mix up a color here, starting off with some white, and I'll put a little bit of yellow ochre in there. That's probably a little more than I wanted of that. So, and then I'm going to go over here and get a little bit of cerulean blue, just a tab of cerulean blue. And I think this is about what I want. Let's test it out here. Yeah, that's pretty close to. So what I want endeavoring to do in this final passage is lighten and warm the value of the sky. I still want to keep this flume. I guess that's the word for it. This spire of light that's coming up here. So I might have to go back and lighten that. But I want to lighten the sky a little bit. If you think of Claude Lorrain's wonderful paintings that have this warmth of the Campagna, the Italian countryside, that's what I'm using as my inspiration, but also my observations here too. The paint layer underneath of this is dry, which sometimes is important. So that's why it's going on so nicely. If it were wet, it would get kind of mushy in there. continue that over here to this side too. I'm going to put a little more of the cerulean blue in here to darken the value a tad. I'll need a little more, a little darker there. Maybe just a tad of black there, just to mute it down. That's just about right. That's basically what I wanted. I wanted the value to be lighter, and I think that's about what I wanted to do at this stage. I'm just going to do one final part of this in this little demonstration, and it will be to bring out the highlights of some of these cloud forms up in this area here, and that's going to be done with mostly white that it has a slight warmish tint in it here. So I have a photo that I'm using as a reference, but it's just sort of a general model. In other words, I'm not being real exact or what's the word? Literal. I'm just using it as a basic point of departure. But even with clouds, I'm thinking of the general overall placement of them and how they relate to each other. It's almost an exercise in abstract design, which I find very enjoyable. So bringing out the shapes of these wonderful billowy clouds as they ascend. And then there's this kind of etched edges here that the sun is catching. This particular painting that I'm doing, I'm getting ready for a show at the Roger Lapel Gallery in Philadelphia, where I've been showing for 3 years, and so you can see it there in March of this year. Okay, so I think that's about all I wanted to do for this demonstration, and to show you this landscape with figures and warm light. Okay, thanks so much for your attention.